Hey, welcome back. What do you think when I say expander ball? Is it run out? Well, you wouldn't be alone for thinking that. It seems that the internet thinks that as well. The real question is whether expander ball run out is an immutable truth, a myth, or a legend on the internet. Let's find out. Before we start rolling cases under an indicator, we need to answer a different question, and that is, do we actually need to expand the necks of our cases? You see, back in the days when everyone was neck turning, a lot of people went to a methodology of simply using a neck bushing to set their neck tension and not expanding at all. I've tried this and found the result less than desirable, for my use anyway. If we have to expand, there's really only about two ways to do it. One is an expander ball and the other is with a mandrel. The mandrel process, in addition to the cost of the mandrels and the dies, has an inherent disadvantage of every case having to take one additional trip through the press every single time you size, which takes time. So the question is, which process produces the best cases? Let's do a comparison between the 223 brass that I sized in the last video with an expander ball and some 223 brass that I put aside sized with a bushing die and then expanded with a mandrel. For the sake of my own sanity, I've limited each sample to 50 cases. Any more than that, and I would go absolutely bloomin' mad in the process of doing all of this testing. And there's no purpose for that. At the same time, I need to note that I don't check run out on my cases or my loaded rounds as a regular practice. I only use run out as a measurement to see if my process is working properly. A good process can give you good results where you can't necessarily measure good results into your processes, if that makes any sense. Having about run myself crazy checking run out on 100 consecutive cases, let's take a look at the histograms of the data that I retrieved from this experiment. First, we're going to take a look at the cases that used the expander ball. And now the cases that used the expander mandrel. As you can see, in each case, the mode is at 1,007 inch total indicated runout. They're both the same. If you look, there's a little more dispersion in the mandrel group, but it's not significant. As a matter of fact, the standard deviation is so small, it is a little bit less than 0.507 inch. Let's take a look at the average because I think people will be more interested in that number. The average runout for the expander ball group was 1.1507 inch. Yeah, 0.00115. The expander mandrel group was a little bit smaller at 0.9707 inch. In other words, 0.00097. That's a really small number, but not much smaller than the expander ball group. So what can we take from all of this? Well, first, expander balls do not always guarantee high runout numbers coming right out of the die. I can imagine a situation where one bends the decapping assembly through improper setup of a die and resulting in a bent rod that puts the expander ball at an angle to the case neck when you go to expand it that probably would cause some run out. But a properly handled die that isn't damaged through misuse can give you good results. So if run out between the two is not an issue, why do I use an expander for certain cartridges? The answer to that is very simple. The expander ball is kind of a limited device. You get one size, and that's what you get. On the other hand, with a mandrel, you can make small adjustments, half thousandths increments if you decide to buy mandrels in sets, and set that neck tension exactly where you want it. In F class, I like to have more neck tension than an expander ball provides. In PRS, with the Dasher, I have a die that I'm using that doesn't have an expander ball as an option, so I have to use a mandrel for that one. But in the 223 Remington, this die provides 2.5 thousandths of neck tension, which is perfect for my intended use, which is a magazine-fed rifle treated roughly. If I can get the same result out of an expander ball as I do out of a mandrel, I'm going to go with the expander ball every single time, simply because that is less work to get the case sized each and every time. Time saved is time that is useful for other, more valuable purposes, like practice or loading, or spending time with your family. Now, don't get me wrong. If you enjoy pulling on your press handle for fun and excitement, go for it. It's just not for me. Let's answer that initial question. Is run out from an expander ball an immutable truth, a myth, or a legend? I'm calling this one a legend because it is possible to get run out from the expander ball under certain circumstances, but at the same time, it's not a likely or probable outcome in my experience. That's all there is for this one. Until next time, realize that every minute you spend at the press is a minute you can't be doing something else more productive. And I'll see you in the next video.